garden, and we hope it's the beginning of many journeys that we will have with you here around. So basically, just to give you an overview, Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe is a network that is national, that facilitates for a focal point for women and girls' rights activism in Zimbabwe. We have national structures in Itari. So our membership is over 119 institutions and over 10,000 individual members. And our members, because we are a diverse network, work or are organized in 9 thematic clusters, which include the cluster on prevention of gender-based violence, access to health, peace building, economic empowerment, legal and constitutional affairs cluster, politics and decision making. So today here present, this press conference is hosted under the Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe Legal and Constitutional Affairs cluster. So this cluster's mandate is really around legal literacy, legal support, and facilitating for women and girls access to justice, and issues around law and policy reforms, and issues also that deals with making sure that the Constitution of Zimbabwe is implemented, it's respected, and delivers on provisions that speaks to women's rights and gender equality. So under the support of I Am Swedish, Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe, through its members, is implementing an initiative called Amplifying Community Voices to End Child Marriages. So the project sites are Chiweshe, Norton, and Mbare. So there have been an establishment of a working group which consists of Shamwari Mwanasikana, Issues Panenyaya, Center for Development of Women and Children, Research and Advocacy Units, Katswe Sisterhood, Zimbabwe Young Women's Network for Peace, and then spearheaded by the Zimbabwe Women's Bureau. So the Zimbabwe Women Lawyers Association and Women in Law in Southern Africa, as key institutions which lead our legal and constitutional affairs, have done quite a number of initiatives.
Child marriages. It's important for us to have one voice, not just the CSOs alone, but the community, even maybe to just have one voice. That what is a child? A child is someone is under the age of 18, and that child marriages is wrong, no matter what the causes are. Is it poverty? Is it lack of finance? But just to move with one voice. The reason why I'm saying so is, let's go back to the domestic violence. Domestic violence used to be unacceptable in society. It used to be like, it's normal, until people used to do activism around it. Even before there was the Domestic Violence Act, activism was already taking place. So it's important that as much as we are waiting for laws to be aligned at the moment with the Constitution, let us have one voice, let us speak one language until the people's mindset is changed. Then they can use the law when it comes to
shelter where they can be taken care of. But quite a number of challenges would be around access to those infrastructure. Are they well serviced? Are they resourced enough? So part of this conversation is for us to reflect, to say, while Africa as a society have made commitments, while we are rich in minerals, while we have our own resources, how best do we also invest in the future generation? Agenda 2063 is also paying attention to investing in the future of Africa. It's also looking into us collectively, paying attention to ensuring that the infrastructure or the governance framework that we put in place, or the services that should actually make the law become alive, need to be adequately resourced. So it's something that also us as a collective need to pay attention to, and ensure that for the Zimbabwe Republic Police to function, it needs to be equipped with the tools of trade. For the Social Welfare Ministry to function, there's need for that. For those that are in the union, for those that have realities of actually dealing with those cash, how best do we have national mechanisms to provide for that?
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.